What's up, guys? It's your boy the Wolf. Now this particular video is going to just be about what's going on lately with the affidavits. So apparently you guys have been making some ruckus for these public officials who are supposed to always take your forms, and because you're putting on public notice. A lot of them will now consider that to be paper terrorism, paper domestic terrorism, okay? That's really not a thing because you're not terrorizing them, all right? If you personally are sending in just personally lots of documents, you always have the ability to send in one or two to put things on notice, okay? If you're bombarding them with your own stuff, affidavit, blah, 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 don't do that, okay? Because all you're really doing at that point in time is now you're irking them. They know they don't have jurisdiction over you as a natural person. And by all lawful means, you don't have to notify them. It is a courtesy. We are utilizing that courtesy. But for the most part, they don't have places to store them. They're not going to scan them. These things are outside their jurisdictions. And if you're like me and you stamp yours with your own seal from your own nation, that piece of paper is a vessel. So once you stamp that vessel, that paper is outside of their jurisdiction. It's not their property, which also means they, without your consent, especially if you put also on there non-negotiable, cannot monetize your paper, your file, your application, your whatever you've given them that they, if they're going to do such with it. So this particular piece is about the Secretary of State and the IRS. So even for me, 3 years later, okay, after I sent in my revocation of election, basically they're saying, if you owe us anything, let us know. Okay, I don't. Changed my status, and everything's been filed properly, so we're good to go there. So they're basically stating that they, 3 years later, or almost 3 years later, they're saying your arguments are frivolous and have no basis in law. No, that's inaccurate. Federal courts have consistently ruled against such arguments. Also inaccurate. Okay, so they're straight out lying. What they're trying to say is that if you, and it starts off by saying, dear taxpayer. So if you are in fact a taxpayer, then sending in a revocation is frivolous. That's accurate. But in their own words, there are such things as non-taxpayers. Okay? That's what we're filing at. So this is fraudulent, lying information that they're presenting right here. All right? So, but once again, they start off with the fact, taxpayer. If you're agreeing that you're a taxpayer and you haven't filed your W-8BN or your W-4V, W, the number 4, then V, your 8233, your W-8BNE, your 1040 NRs, okay? You change your status to the SS5, then yeah, sure, you're a taxpayer, okay? So understand, guys, that they will continue to, it says here, they try to know the law. The United States Constitution, Article 1, blah, 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 says Congress shall have the power to lay and collect taxes. Yeah, but if you go on to read the rest of the argument, it says, for those people within, the key word is in the United States. Well, within the United States means inside of their corporation, because the taxable part is the United States, which is the corporation. Okay? So yes, they do have full autonomy to do such if your status is not corrected and corrected with them with the proper paperwork. So in other words, they don't want to... what the IRS does, the IRS address willful, so they call it willful non-compliance with U.S. tax law. So you're saying, so what they're saying here, guys, is if you are still considered a taxpayer and you're purposefully non-compliance, they have penalties for that. And they should, because true taxpayers, which are located in the United States, which by law is Washington, D.C., and said territories thereof, yeah, because you're their property. So this is what I'm talking about, guys. This is how they try to skate past the law. And we already know this is crap because many of their own employees who have left the company have said there is no law that states that you have to pay taxes. But you do have to pay them if you are a taxpayer. So know how to change your status and deal with that. So the other part is that the Secretary of State of most of these states now, some of the states, have also, when sending them your affidavits, have been returning them and saying that they do not authenticate such documents. Okay? So once again, that's another one of their avoidance. They're avoiding your affidavits of status by saying, oh, we're just not going to authenticate this, because it's not one of the known documents that they are there and have an obligation by law to authenticate or apostle or apostille or certify. Okay, they don't have to do any and all documents. So once again, you see how they're mixing two different things. What they're saying here is that you're sending them your affidavit to be recorded, and they're basically saying, yeah, we don't want to record this, so we're just going to believe that you're want us to authenticate it? Sure. And then they're going, here it is back, okay? So, as an update, seeing this information, I would not send, from now on, I would recommend not sending your revocation of election to the IRS, okay? You're just going to get the letter back. We all know it's hooey, okay? We now know that what it is you need to change your status on paper, because that's where they can't contest any of it. Change your status, change it with their proper forms, using the files mentioned, call it a day. I would recommend doing it with your HR department as well, if you haven't done that already, if it suits you. And keeping a copy for yourself. If you're self-employed, keep a copy for yourself. They, in the letters, state that they do not want you to send your W-8BNs, W-8BNEs, 8233s, your 1040NRs to them. I recommend still sending it to them as educational information only, marking on there reference use only to be updated with my file, and sending that in, okay, instead of the revocation of election. The Secretary of State, I would send it to the governor instead of the Secretary of your state, because that's the little game that they want to play. So as they move, we move, all right? You can always talk to your governor. Secretary wants to play that it's, you know, that. Now, some still take them. I'm not saying all, but if it comes back, you understand what it is. All right, so remember, guys, as a private individual, we do not have to give them notice. It's a courtesy. I recommend doing it because then they can't say that they didn't know, and some of them will take it and put it on file. I know one of my guys in Florida has done that, and he got his police record updated, and so now they don't bother him. Okay, some places are cool. Some states are nice. Some officials are nice. The next one that gets in the office may not be. Okay, some might be a dick. Some might be like, cool, I know exactly what that is. I got you. All right. So, but remember, a lot of these low-level functionaries do not know what this information is. And even here, even though they sent this letter, I already understand the situation. Okay. Countless people from the IRS have come forward and said this. I've read through their information. I can understand their little back talk. So they send stuff like that to kind of scare you off or to shush you away. Sorry, I already know what files to file, and I've already done that. Okay. So the whole thing is changing your status on paper. Okay. So those are the two places I'd recommend not sending them. And don't let them scare you. Those are their biggest things, is their scare tactics and whatever else. Okay. Remember, they're always dealing with the straw man. You're not the straw man. The straw man is the birth certificate, is the 14th Amendment U.S. business trust that they gave you. Okay. Distance yourself from it or control it and tell them, yeah, we're not doing business with you anymore, and change its status. Or walk away from it and use other methods and tools in the proper jurisdictions. That's it. Okay? Read the Constitution. Understand what it is. Dissect those parts of it and understand. Like I said, you can look up the lady. She had a $50,000 challenge on if anybody could provide proof that there is a legal or a lawful requirement to have to pay taxes for an American national that they consider to be a non-citizen. What is it? They now call us non-citizens of the United States, or also some of us fall underneath the term non-resident aliens. meaning you don't reside within their jurisdiction, because their jurisdiction is Washington, D.C., and their territories. And corporations are typically 14th Amendment U.S. citizens and taxable individuals. That's what they are. So either you have to change the status of that, or you distance yourself, close it, and dissolve that, okay? And then you create a new one that's non-taxable in the right statuses, okay? That's it. So don't be Jedi mind tricked, guys. Continue to fight the good fight. Be in honor. And remember, all this is just good business, all right? So that's it. I'll talk to you guys later. Badwolf's over and out. Don't forget to hit that bell, like, subscribe. You guys know how this works. I'll talk to you later. Get out of there and go do something fun.